Okay, your three presentations highlighted actually three important points. No, the first is that, as you pointed out, tourism is here to stay. The travel agency business is here to stay, contrary to predictions about 10 to 20 years ago that it's already on the demise stage. As long as, of course, there's innovation and evolution. And third is that there are career opportunities and even new roles available for our young people in this room. Now, and at the same time, you emphasize that, of course, to respond to this additional, this demand for additional human capital, there should be the right skills. Now, I'd like to ask more or less what would be the priority skills, maybe one, two, or three, that should be emphasized in our curriculum in the educational institution so that our graduates could really respond to this evolving travel space, as you pointed out. Maybe we can start with Andy by height.
By height, okay. No, I think I want to take something from Miss Aileen's slide, which I think is very important. It's stewardship. So I think what we actually look for, a lot of things we can teach. In terms of technology, we can teach you coding as well. But we can never teach you ownership. We can never teach you stewardship if you don't believe in it. So I think that's one of the real values that, especially from Amadeus, this is what we look out for. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Timothy.
Yeah, so carrying on that theme as well, it's something that is intangible, and I think the biggest one is initiative. To have that initiative when I hire a new staff is because, like I mentioned in my slides, just being an order taker is not enough. You want someone who can challenge you. And when I hire that the colleague in marketing, for example, I want that person not to be a yes man. I want that person to challenge my views as well, because with that initiative, that's how we can succeed. And that to me is one of the key ingredients in what some of the students can consider having or learning as they enter the workforce.
Mine is something you can do something about. Communication skills. In fact, we use a lot of technology. I have the different groups of my company on the phone, so we communicate. And when one person communicates in not the precise language that we want them to, they get lost in translation. You will laugh here. One anecdote only. We manage a few properties, hotels, resorts, and we asked two students to buy 3 cases of beer for our guests. They bought the case without the beer. As simple as that. But it's true, it happens. It seems like a joke, but it's real. So we want them to be able to communicate. Hindi yung, sorry for the Filipino phrase, nauutal pag kailangan na magsalita. So I think communication skills is a must. You have to be able to deliver it.
Now, I just wanted to elaborate more about stewardship because, Aileen, you highlighted it in your presentation. So can you explain more about stewardship and how actually our educational institutions can also address it or incorporate it in the curriculum development?
Wow, stewardship really covers a lot, but basically, in some fields or some teachers or professors teach that the work is separate from your personal life. It's not. It shouldn't be. Because your passion is displayed in your stewardship. And stewardship, your fulfillment, cannot be about your inferiority or your complex in life. Your stewardship is that because you were able to teach other people, because you were able to share your knowledge with other people, you have given your legacy to them to take care of the next. So even in our office, we take care of families. A transaction is defined as an act of kindness. So every time they become an order taker, they are not giving an act of kindness because they did not understand why somebody did a particular transaction. What if somebody is buying an air ticket and you didn't pay attention to it? Ayun pala, that person is buying a ticket because somebody is about to pass away. So if you're not understanding these things, then you're lost. So stewardship is really an understanding and a passion, and your fulfillment is derived from the happiness or the joy that you are able to deliver for other people.
Okay, I'd like to invite members from our audience to ask questions because I know you are very excited already to inquire more from our speakers about their points that they shared. You have any questions? Anyone would like to pose? Any from the students? Most especially if you have graduating students here who'd like to know more about their career opportunities in the travel agency or travel and tourism business in general.
You know, one of the attributes that we look for in the workforce is also courage. The courage to ask questions. And to be honest, right, I've observed in our careers, you know, a lot of the times, right, it is the person that speaks up. I think this is something that in the Asian mentality that we have to improve on. It's also the same with Singaporeans, that we're trained never to ask questions. And I realized that if you don't ask, then we don't know, and people don't notice you. So I make it a conscious point very early on in my career. Whatever the boss asks, I raise my hand. And then I figure it out. I might say something that's totally irrelevant, all right, but at least I participated. So I encourage you, seriously, participate. Yeah? Then there is no wrong answer.
So I think there's a famous phrase for that, right? Fake it till you make it. So I think that's very true. And like Andy says, I've done a few of these sessions in Singapore as well. So no questions always at this kind of platform, but once the session is over, we get mobbed by like hundreds of questions. So please spare us. You can ask now.
Okay, we have a few courageous people or members of the audience now. I'd like to ask a question. Yes, please. Please state your name and your affiliation.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's not a question, but actually an appreciation of what you have presented. You are very true. Everybody has to prepare for the future. Especially, I'm addressing to our teachers, because all of these things should start from the teachers. And maybe we've got to tell them that there must be ownership of the job that they are doing. Because once they have that ownership, they would try to learn the craft and develop the confidence, and at the same time, like for example, to make it different from, of course, the technology, they will be prepared then. A lot of things should be started by our instructors. I was sad to hear about what Miss Aileen presented or shared to us. Imagine the 3 cases of beer, and then only the cases were being bought. Wow! Nasaan na yung utak? Napunta na yata sa tuhod, ano? So maybe this is a challenge to all of us, no? I'm a retired dean already, but I am asking our faculty members, please take the responsibility. Let's take the responsibility and prepare our people for the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I saw a lady actually raise her hand. Yes, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Half of me is from the industry and half of me is from the academy. So I was really shocked, surprised, challenged after hearing your talk. It's undeniably the thing of today. I'm a tour guide, Ma'am Aileen, and I'm also a teacher, 15 universities. Fatima is my 16th university. Okay. It's a challenge for both the academy and the industry, because for the longest time, gaps has been the issue since, 30 years ago when I started. But I think it's a challenge because for a teacher to become a mentor, which is stewarding, wow, puso. Uh, I am a semi-retired teacher. I came back when Fatima, invited me. And I said yes. And I was so shocked that the students, wow, there's a lot of things to do actually. It's not only teaching, but mentoring. When you are very good in teaching, sometimes, you lack heart, passion, patience to teach the students. So it's a challenge both for the teachers, for the school, because to be innovative, you need equipments. Oh my God, mahal yun, expensive. But Fatima is one of the schools I'm proud to be joining them, that they have this modern technology, the system, and I'm low-tech, I'm about to be a dual citizen, Filipino citizen and senior citizen. So I'm telling you that joke because it's in thing for tourists. They don't understand the dual citizenship. So it's a challenge, really. So this travel talk is really a wake-up call for us. And unless we do our share, it will be really a challenge forever. So calling all the schools and the industry, let's partner, no? Okay, to be able to at least, go near, sabi nga ni Ma'am Aileen, go near higher or eventually higher. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Yes, Aileen.
I've been, when we started the Tourism Knowledge Center, we were very pleasantly surprised with schools such as Our Lady of Fatima, with the initiative, the progress, and the eagerness and the openness that they wanted to be part, again, as I said, of the insanity of the Tourism Knowledge Center. Because a lot of the other premier schools did not even look at this in the first place, which I thought they would be interested in. So again, I'm grateful for all our partners, even especially in Bohol and Palawan, that they had all these numerous researches, and even if they didn't have the facilities, they had this. So when they came to us and with their eagerness to partner, it was all we needed. It's this and this. That's all.
Thank you, Aileen. I wanted to ask Andy and Timothy, in Singapore, for example, do you have partnerships, collaborations with schools, most especially in this field of digital marketing or travel platform or even developing content and the like?
Yeah, well, I think in Singapore there are partnerships, but more can be done. I think that's quite symptomatic of the travel industry in Singapore. There are tourism schools in the different universities and polytechnics, but there always seems to be that gap as well with the travel agency or the travel industry. More can be done. There are existing ones, but I feel that from seeing it in the last 12 years, I think more can be done in that sense.
I think for us, maybe I can speak not for Singapore, but more from an Amadeus perspective. We have a program. You can YouTube it later because you don't Google now. YouTube it later is called Amadeus Next. So we have enormous technology. So what we do is that we provide that technology to people, to startups, to students, who want to participate. Because technology is expensive, but for us, we want to invest in the future. And I just want to end off, right? I think you're a fantastic university. Seriously, I want to thank the teachers. I want to thank the students. You have fabulous graduates all over the world. Trust me. I was at the hotel. I stay at the Citadines, right, in Makati, right? So I came in. I flew in last evening, and I asked the hotel manager. I said, do you know how to get to the University of Our Lady of Fatima? And she was like, yes, of course. I'm a graduate from there. the hotel manager of the Escort Residences. He was so proud. He was so proud, and he asked me, so what are you going to do there? So I said, I'm actually taking part in a travel talk. So I am so proud of all of you. Nurses in Singapore, there's so many from your university, right? Even my own dentist from St. Andrews is from your university. And thank you so much. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for the fine work. And thank you for just continue to do this, right? And make yourself proud and do this all over the world, right? And then make Filipinos proud, eh?
Thank you so much. For those belonging to the age bracket of 18 to 35, as mentioned by Timothy earlier in his presentation, just imagine that we're just part of the chat system, so that if you want to ask some questions, so just imagine that this is the chat room. So yes, please. Okay.
I'd like to pose this question to Miss Aileen. You mentioned earlier about communications problem. I think that's something that is across different disciplines. It's really a problem. And being in the industry for several decades, what I'm wondering is whether is there anything that the industry is doing in terms of fixing this communication skills problems?
I cannot speak for the industry, but I can speak for Raja. As I said, we invest per person, it's about 500,000 just for the training, just to ensure that the language is specific for the operations, but at the same time, it's not just about speaking in English, but speaking precise language when you're communicating. Especially the use of pronouns. That's always, she did that to him. Who is she? Who is him? These are simple, basic things that should be actually from K to 12. So that's why we set up the Tourism Knowledge Center, not just addressing it when they're there, but because it needs to be started from the ground. So that's why we have the Tourism Knowledge Center, because our idea is, apart from them reaching college, what do we need to influence down on the ground from the very first step?
That's just a comment about that also, because when I was listening to you earlier, when you mentioned about that, my mind started cracking again, because I always tell that the problem is always at the bottom, because we kept hiring, or we kept having basic education teachers who themselves have problems with teaching communications, or they themselves have problems with communications. And to me, I can attest that, because we did an event last February. It was participated in by 12,000 researchers all over the country, across multiple locations. And the submissions of those were about 8,000 research output. Abstracts, we only require them to submit abstracts. And in these abstracts that they submitted, I had to commission 3 teams to do proofreading, just so the context of what they're saying in their abstracts will be understood. And these abstracts, why I'm doing that is because my company is based in Singapore also. My kids and wife are Singaporean, Chinese Singaporeans. So the abstracts that we have, we store it at the National Library of Singapore. But that's why before we submit it there, we have to make sure that it is at least something understandable. And I share with you that from the basic education, it's really a problem that the country has to fix now. Otherwise, it will really be a big problem. I mean, it will not be a problem that will be fixed in the next 5 years or 10 years if we don't do anything about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, actually, all of us have that responsibility. So even the families. And again, YouTube is already available. There are some lessons there. So it's all accessible. So it doesn't have to be a problem. Let's provide the solution. YouTube, again, is already there, and there are some techniques there. Use it. I think there was one bar exam where already the top came from the province. It's because they were accessing the internet more. It's already available. Let's use it. And it's a shared responsibility. That's stewardship.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Paz, Espiritu of Holy Name University, Bohol. I would like to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to be here. Bohol is far from Valenzuela, so we traveled far. And I told my colleague, this better be good. Thank you. You reached our expectations. Thank you very much. It was a very short presentation, but very compact. My question is, it's beyond doubt that innovation and technology, they play a very big role in the tourism industry now. But I would like to take the perspective of the customers. Like me, I use online booking to buy tickets, hotels, etc. But my concern is with the advancement of technology, there is a possibility that I might book in a website which is bogus. I might be using my credit cards, get tickets, book hotels, only to find out that the website is not legitimate. So with the technology now, how do you protect us, consumers? Thank you.
One of the things that Amadeus has done is, of course, we have what we call your two-factor authentication, all right, which basically also requests for your mobile number, all right. So I think it's an exchange of information. And also one thing that I learned from the millennials, or the 18 to the 35s, is that you look at reviews. Reviews are actually quite helpful, right? In my day and time, I could only ask like a few friends who probably has never been to the place before, right? So, but I think on the internet it's fantastic. You look at reviews and people actually tell you. So recently I've been shopping online for my children, all right, and I wanted to buy a toy cabinet, right? And I chose the one which has the most reviews from old people like me. Right? So it's fantastic, yeah.
Yes, in the case of Kontiki.
It's the same. I think reviews are our digital word of mouth now. So further to your point as well, some basic tips is also obviously when you book online, make sure there are guidelines on the internet to guide you, but there will be the secure password or secure key, some little clues on the website. How the URL is spelled out as well. These are little things that gives you a heads up whether the website is bogus or not. And I think like Andy says, you can always go onto TripAdvisor as well. I think that's a perfect review site for anything travel, and that gives you a good indication whatever you're booking is bogus or not. Yeah.
We have a question actually from Lawrence de la Peña. The Filipino has distinct accent compared to different Asian countries. Do you consider these as an advantage or a disadvantage? And thank you in advance for the response.
Maybe I can answer that. I think it's a very good question. So whoever asked that question, thank you. All right, if you look at my shirt, I have my initials on my sleeve. This was taught to me in university by my lecturer. It's a very old school way of doing things. So I asked him, why would you want to put your initials on your shirt? Is it because you might forget that that is your shirt? He said, no. He said that if you are not proud of your own name and of who you are, nobody will be. And if Filipinos, you are not proud of your own accent, nobody will be. I am Singaporean. I speak like that all the time. I speak like that in Spain, I speak like that in France, and I speak like that everywhere I go because I am proud. And Filipinos, you should be proud. You have every right to be proud. You speak great English, right? You're one of the most hardworking people in the world. And you're one of the most nicest people in the world as well. Yeah. So if I were you, be really proud. Be really proud. Even in a public speaking environment, all right, everywhere you go, be proud to be Filipino, be proud of your accent, all right, and be proud and go forward and rule the world, my friends.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. I think we still can entertain about two questions from the floor. 18 to 35 age group. Actually, those who asked earlier belong to the 18 to 35 age group. So, other questions? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I am Rosan from Lyceum of the Philippines University, Manila, and Hausan College in Pampanga. My question is, what will be the right approach in teaching communication skills in the tourism and hospitality industry? Will we go very technical, like grammar, or we will opt to like teaching our students how to listen, understand, and translate these messages into meaningful outputs? Because we also have to understand that communication skills is not only English, right? So that's my question.
I
Aileen?
guess that's mine. All of the above. But communication skills, there's different parts. One is your verbal, one is your non-verbal. Both need to be, you need to have a program for that whole thing or integrate it in your subjects, which is the way the new curriculum works anyway, that it should be an outcome. One of the outcomes is how to have that. Now, in terms of communication, there's two parts. The verbal communication has two parts. One is the technical, so that you know that when you're responding to somebody, for example, giving an instruction, is it proper? Is it the correct steps? That's one. The second one is communications, customer relations, how to handle, queries, how are you responding? That's the other one, which again can be integrated in the different subjects, in the way that you handle creating cases, creating itineraries, explaining the logic of the itinerary. It's integrated. It should be integrated, not taught in isolation of another.
Okay, thank you very much, Aileen. Okay, yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm from PhilToa. I'm a member of PhilToa and PTAA, and I'm also an owner of a travel agency. So my question is, we've been hearing about innovation and technology as the in thing and the direction of the tourism industry. So since we have here the Our Lady of Fatima University as our host and some representatives from other universities, do you think CHED should modify the current curriculum of the tourism courses of the Philippines so that when the students graduate, they are somehow prepared and equipped for the future jobs of the tourism industry? And if yes, what do you suggest to be added or modified?
So I guess, Aileen, you're supposed to answer that.
So I'm the private sector representative right now in the CTHM technical committee. There was just a revision to the curriculum CMO 62. Yun nga, moving things to outcomes based. So iba na siya, and I think there's also, it was very extensive. It was a learning process for me because even the way they were aligned with yun nga sa K-12, ano rin yung mga kailangan ni address in corresponding sa TESDA counterpart din noon. But I believe the rest of those members of the committee did a very good job. Dr. Cordova is one of those. Wow, my God. I was surprised that I could follow his train of thought. But you will see the benefits of the changes siguro in another 4 years because so the new curriculum kasi again just started, so you'll see the benefits in 4 years time, I would suppose.
Okay, thank you very much for that response, Aileen. At this point, I'd like to close our session on technology and career opportunities. Let's give a round of applause to our three speakers. Okay, thank you.